This is the Stop Playing podcast with Sham and Shaka. I'm Sham.
I'm Shaka. What's going on, Sham?
Hey, not much. Now, what's today? Saturday. Man, we just all over the week.
Yeah, we're all over the week. But, I feel like the weekends are our natural state. We've toyed around with Thursday, but haven't. We did it once, I guess, right? But the weekends, it feels good to go on a weekend. And it's going to feel really good. I mean, pulling the curtain back a little bit. I'm going to see you tomorrow.
Hey, look at
that's going to be awesome. And I think we'll save a little bit of some aftermath from all of that. I can't wait for that. But, before we get into some brass tacks, it's my grandmother's birthday today. So today is October the 24th. We did a show, Never Can Say Goodbye, which was very well titled by you last year when she passed. So she would have been 89 today. And
right.
Like I said at that time, and I'll say it now, anything I say on the podcast, especially as it pertains to politics and stuff, my interest in politics and my interest in social issues and political issues stemmed from my grandmother and her involvement a lot, especially in local politics. She was a union leader. She was a very active local leader, and she worked the polls. And as we come upon the election, I think it's appropriate that her birthday is so near the election, because she would have been one of those people at the polls telling you where to go, instructing you what to do, and making sure there were no shenanigans. And so I miss her a lot, but everything I do, especially as it pertains to this podcast, is dedicated to her. So.
Everything I do.
Thank you for singing.
Do it for you.
Yeah, I don't think she would have liked
heavenly birthday.
Thank you.
She's a Scorpio grandmama. I know she was in charge, boy.
S.E. Nelson. S.E. Nelson. That was her name. Yeah, she was definitely in charge. Definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah. How's your week been?
Every day is a struggle. Every day is a flipping struggle.
Yeah.
I send you random texts throughout the week like,
yes, she does.
I cannot stand these people.
Yeah, and I feel bad. And I'll say it on the show. I haven't really actually said it to Sham. The nature of my job is such that I can like interact and talk on the phone or text or what have you, but I can't really devote my attention to it at the time. So Sham will send me stuff, and she's not the only one, but she definitely will send me things, and I'll respond just so that I can, or I'll like emoji to let her know that I've seen it. But I feel like I'm kind of like giving a message that I didn't like acknowledge it, but that's not true. But yeah, she does. She says, you do send me stuff, and it makes me double take like, huh? Okay. All right. Let me get back to work.
Like I literally cannot make this stuff up.
Yeah.
So today, see, I have such a problem with this because a few months back, it had come out that the quote unquote Home Depot CEO was a Trump supporter, or they're donating funds or whatever. So after a little bit of research, and we talked about this, we found that it was the former CEO who hasn't worked for the company since like the early 2000s, and this and that, yada, yada. And he was like the founder or whatever. So since that happened, people like me. People have been like legit saying to me, yo, you should shop at Lowe's. You should shop at Lowe's because they have a black CEO and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you need to support black people.
I've forgotten that.
This and that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, all right, cool, whatever. I've always been more of a Home Depot person than Lowe's, but I'm not like terribly opposed to going to Lowe's. It just always seems like when I'm looking for something, Home Depot has a better variety. It's just shopping. So I decide this week I'm going to purchase a grill. Now, granted, it's October.
All right. Home on the time for real.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not exactly summer, but people still got grills out here. So I'm looking all over the internet.
Got a kiss the cook apron yet?
Yeah, no, I don't want nobody kissing. No.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just had to ask.
But so I went online Thursday night, went through Rakuten because I'm always trying to save $1 or get something back in life. And so I said, I'll go through Lowe's. They had 2 grills available: the Char Grill, Acorn, Kamado Grill. Now, it's a very popular style of grill because it's a grill and a smoker. So the fact that they had 2 was a win.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went ahead and ordered it. Got a little nice cover to match. Got some other accessories. Boom, boom, boom. We in there. I didn't go pick it up yesterday because I had some other things to do, but I should be able to pick it up whenever. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's there.
It's there
for the picking up.
So I roll up, download the Lowe's app, park in the space that says curbside pickup, press the button. I'm waiting.
Do we get efficient service? No efficient service.
10 minutes goes by. I'm like, yo, nobody gonna come out here? Ain't nobody gonna come out here and bring my stuff?
You're not even checked on?
I'm not even checked on.
Not even like, hey, sorry we're running behind?
I'm the only person parked in a curbside space.
You're the only person in there. Sound like me, didn't even keep going.
So I'm like, okay, let me just try this again. I'm gonna go ahead and press the button, let them know that I'm here. Boom, I'm following instructions. They say pull up, press the buttons on the app. 2-3 minutes. Y'all just ain't even gonna come outside. All right. Call the number that's on the sign in my space. Ring, ring, ring. So y'all just not even going to answer the phone. So at this point, I am boiling because this is not the first time that I've actually gone to Lowe's. Not this specific Lowe's. I had gone to Lowe's when I first moved into this house because someone had given me a gift card. And I said, well, I got to use it. So let me go to Lowe's. I sat in that curbside forever until somebody came out finally.
Okay.
This time, nobody. So I got up and walked inside. I said, so y'all just ain't going to do no curbside? Like, where the curbside people at? Y'all don't answer the phone. Y'all don't do, the girl looks at me like, yeah, I don't know. She was nice. But
okay,
she was like,
nice.
she didn't work curbside. She worked customer service. So she can't tell you. She can't tell me why. But I'm in there. Now I'm in there. So like, I don't need curbside now.
Yeah.
So she's like, I have your order over here. And then she brings me 2 out of the 3 things. I said,
incomplete order.
There's no grill. Where's the grill?
Wait, what were the other 2 things? The
cover to the grill and the lump charcoal.
Bring you the accessories, but not the grill. Okay.
I got charcoal. I got a cover for the grill. Okay, great. So she's like, yeah, but they must have your grill in the back. Let me check. So she goes on the computer, does her thing. She's like, oh, it says that they're assembling it. So let me go in the back and see if I said, I never asked for them to assemble it. She
shared too much information. She should have just been like, yo, I'm going to go check on that. Because assembling it now is unacceptable.
It's been ready. I bought it 2 days ago. Right. I bought it Thursday. It's Saturday.
Bless her heart, but that was TMI right there.
She printed out the sheet. And she shows me, it says a symbol. And she said, well, let me put that.
She showed it to you.
She showed it to me.
Oh, man. That young lady. Don't tell her the story because she's nice. I want her fired.
No, she was very nice. And
that's my point. She said, give you too much info.
She did. So she goes to the back. I'm standing there. Meanwhile, while I'm standing there, I'm scrolling through Facebook and somebody says that there's Clorox wipes over at the Target across the street. So I'm like, I need to just jump over there and get these Clorox wipes and then come back. Yeah. So the other lady that worked in customer service, she's like, well, you can take your cover and your charcoal and then put it in your car and then run to Target real quick and we'll have your grill ready for you when you come back. Okay. I said, you know what? Yeah.
So they're making promises? Okay.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't want to miss out on these Clorox wipes either. So
no. I understand why you did what you did, but my point is she said they would have it ready?
Yeah. So I get to the doors open. I hear in a little faint voice, the girl came back. There's no grill back there. I turned around. I said, what? There's no grill back there? She looked at me like, how did she hear that?
This is the same one that showed you the paper?
Yes.
So she's just sharing all the information out here.
So no, she didn't. She was saying it to the other lady.
I know, but my point is she's leaking information. Yes.
So I turned around. I said, wait a minute. You walk back there and there's no grill back there? She's like, yeah, no, there's no grill back there. I said, wait, when I ordered this grill 2 days ago, y'all had two available. You mean to tell me I'm about to leave here today with no grill?
Yeah.
She said, let me look and see if there's any other Lowe's in the state that has it, blah, blah. I already knew they didn't because that was
Did she use the word state?
Yes.
Like you supposed to go down to like Eastern Shore?
I definitely want to go on the Eastern Shore.
But you know what I'm saying? Like the state is the wrong word to use.
Now, being that the type of person I am and the type of preparation that I like to have, I probably would have driven to the Eastern Shore to get that grill because it was for a purpose. Yeah. However, be that as it may, no one else had it, which I already knew because I had done the research. So then this guy walks up and he doesn't make anything better. He walks up and was like, I set aside 3 grills for that man to assemble yesterday. And one of them was a Kamado. Where the heck did the grill go?
So this is another customer?
No, it was a guy that works there. He apparently pulled grills to be assembled by someone else.
Oh my God.
When the orders came in. So that was his job, apparently. Because he had been running around the store trying to find my grill too. He was trying to help her. So he comes up and was like, one of them was specifically the Kamado grill. I gave it to him yesterday to put together. I said, so basically what y'all telling me is y'all sold somebody else the grill that I already paid for. Because that's what it sounds like. Because where did the grill go? The grill didn't get up and walk out of the store. If somebody had it and was ready to assemble it or had assembled it, somebody else has it now.
I mean, there's so many things wrong with this. Like, why did she get a notification that it was getting put together in the back at that moment? When
she didn't say that it was getting put together at that moment. She said, your grill is supposed to be getting assembled. That's what she said.
Got you. Okay.
Which I said, I did not ask for assembly.
Yeah.
Nah. Because when I ordered it, it asks you before you check out if you want it assembled. I unchecked that box because I didn't want to have to deal with that. I just want the box in my car, bring it home. That's it.
Okay.
I could assemble my own grill. All I had to do is put some legs on it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not even speaking my language with that, but I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So when he came by and said that, I said, you know what? Give my money back right now. I said, matter of fact, I don't want this cover either. I'll take this charcoal because I can't find none anywhere else in town. Because lump charcoal is pretty much hard to find. Yeah. So I will take this charcoal home, but y'all, I want all my money back for everything else. I said, I knew I should have ordered it on Amazon in the first place. So what I did while I was standing there, while she was returning my money, I ordered it on Amazon. It'll be here Tuesday.
I mean, they should give you your money back and some store credit. Did the manager come out? Like, I mean, can we get some apologies? What's up? You writing a letter?
Of course. I got a couple letters to write today, though. The other story is a little longer, so we're going to save that for another time.
The what?
The other story is a little longer, so we're going to save that.
So you got, man, you got to get carpal tunnel, huh?
But this is the second time that I've dealt with Lowe's, and both times have not been pleasant experiences for me. So I will be continuing to shop at Home Depot. I never really stopped.
Nice.
But more important for me is service. Like, I think it's wonderful that Lowe's has a Black CEO. I'm glad that he worked hard and got to the top of his profession. He's become very successful. However, Sham is not successful when she goes to Lowe's.
Well, address your letter directly to him. Right?
Sure.
Yeah. And say that. Be like, I'm very proud of your success. Meanwhile, your companies and your stores in location number X is reflecting poorly on that success.
Both stores in my immediate area have both been trash situations.
How dare I try to tell you how to write a letter?
I think you're coming to my side. You're coming to my side.
I mean, I've written a few letters that you talk about, so I'm getting practiced at it, but only for the purpose of the podcast. Before you tell the listeners where they can find us, and we always love Sham story time. See, your stories, you actually get wronged more than I do, but I kirk out worse than you do. Yeah. In the sense of, like, when I'm telling the story, I'll tell the story on here like somebody shot me or something when I waited for 30 minutes. But anyway, before we go into that, I want to give another shout out, and we've shouted her out on the show before. This is a good friend of ours. Angie sent me some good Raider gear, and Sham, this is one of the years I'm getting Raider gear because my boy's actually good, and we'll get to that in sports. But I got a couple bucket hats, and Sham asked me if I was going fishing, but Angie at the So Fancy website sent me 2 bucket hats. Sham, the one I'm proud of, I'm gonna wear it when I see you. It's great. It has the silver color, the Raiders emblem on it, and a bunch of jersey numbers around it of all the great Raiders: Art Shell, Bo Jackson, Charles Woodson, Ken Stable, all of that. And she put that on there. So she did that special. And then she did a black one with kind of the paint montage. So she put it on her site, but I just wanted to shout her out on the show. She always shows both of us love.
Well, that's appropriate for you to wear tomorrow because it's going to be raining all day.
Yes, it is.
No fish, but
no fish.
It will be raining all day.
Yeah.
And guys, you can get custom apparel from at So Fancy on Instagram and So Fancy on Facebook as well, and sofancy.com.
Yeah. And that's why she trusts you to actually give the information, because I just say the name like people just can find it. So, yeah, Angie, as we've talked about in the past, go to Sham for the actual promotion. But yeah.
And speaking of promotion, let's talk about where people can find us. Thank you for listening if you already are, but tell a friend. They can find us on Facebook and Instagram at the Stop Playing Podcast. Also on Twitter at stop_playing pod. And to listen to us, we are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. And remember, if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave a review. We appreciate that. And it'll help us get our show spotlighted so more people can listen to us. And we have a YouTube channel as well. You can find us there at the Stop Playing Podcast.
It is, man. You've gotten good at that. Even Reese was impressed. He was like, yo, we need to bring you down to get up so you can do the station identification down there. And by the way, we didn't say congratulations to Reese. He recently got married.
Yes, he did get married.
Yeah. And friend of the show, of course, our first guest. So he will always have that honor. We'll shout him out. And he recently had a birthday as well. So
awesome. Happy belated birthday to you, Reese.
Big time, son.
Yeah, we really appreciated him coming on and spending time with us. He spent a while with us, and Reese is a busy dude. So the fact that he had like a couple hours to just chill with us was cool.
And he was busy, and he didn't act busy when he was with us. And I mean, as I like to do, I told him it would be short, and it wasn't. So, good friendship on his part to indulge us on that. So, man, always a busy week. But you know what, Sham? Just kind of like last week and the last couple episodes, it's really not that many quantitative stories. It's just big meat on the big stories. So we had our final debate. Now, I watched it. Oh, I'll put watch in quotes. I watched it, but there was also a football game on that we'll talk about later. Go Birds. On Thursday night. And I was flipping back and forth. So I caught most of the debate, but I went back and rewatched it all. How much of it did you catch?
Caught the second half because during the first hour, I was indulging in that football game. Eagles trash. But so I caught the second half, which I kind of flipping through Facebook. I was like, oh, snap, it's a debate. So I did want to catch that. And because I DVR all the Eagles games, it was no sweat off my back to just kind of take that detour and come back. So you definitely caught more of it than I did. But I'm looking at the transcript and it's delicious, I gotta say.
Yeah. So, once you be able to kind of dive in a little bit more, I think even your first instincts will prove to be true. There were no big U-turns or anything. So anything you've seen up to this point probably bore out over the rest of the debate. So look, this was an actual normal debate. This was way more in line with what we've been accustomed to seeing presidential debates look like. Shout out to Kristen Welker. She did a great job. And she's been a great reporter on NBC for quite a while. And the thing I liked about her is that, everyone made a big deal about what was going to happen with the cutting of the mics and how much power the moderator would have to do that. She didn't really have to do that. I mean, she kind of put it out there, and everyone put it out there like it was a possibility that people will only have 2 minutes and that's it to talk, and there wouldn't be any interruptions. But what she did was she did allow the candidates to go back and forth. So she wasn't like a tyrant as a moderator. And she didn't overreact to what had happened before. And at first I was a little nervous because she was letting them kind of go, but she controlled it the whole time. So she would say, Mr. President, I'm going to let you respond. Mr. Vice President, I'm going to let you respond. And she would be in control of that. And even 45, now granted, he also came out there, clearly the message got to him like, you out of control last debate. Like, you need to calm down. And he did calm down. But I feel like he also showed her respect. And I feel like she established a mature tone to that debate from Jump Street. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of my overarching feedback about it. Up to this point, what about you?
It's funny because after the first debate, somebody was like, we really need to have a Black woman moderate.
Right? I mean, yeah.
And I said, well, we need to, at the very least, have a woman. We saw how that went with the vice presidential debate.
Right. She didn't do
women any justice. Yeah. But Kristen Walker, she did her thing. Now, again, I said I saw the second half. She kept it tight.
Yeah. And to your point, so as the debate went on, yes, 45. As with anything else, you could tell when he's had a meeting with his people and they're like, look, man, you need to calm down. And this is with anything. This is with press conferences, a debate, anything. And he goes out there with the clear intention, like, I'm not going to Kirk out. But then as time wears on, he slips into his habits. So, yes, as the debate went into the second half, he was trying to interrupt more. He was trying to go over more. And she did a good job. There were times where she had to be like, Mr. President, wrap it up. But again, what I like what she did was, and I think she did a really good job of understanding that the candidates, they want to seem like they're in control. She made them feel like they were in control by allowing them to finish their points. Mm-hmm. But she did a good job of making them understand that I'm going to let you finish your point, but then we're going to move on, even if we've gone over time. And I think in that way, it's like, no, I'm the moderator, so I'm still in control. And there were times he acknowledged, he was like, thank you for letting me finish my point. Like, he said that. And for 45 to say thank you to anybody for anything is crazy. So, that in and of itself is...
The entitled never say thank you.
Exactly. So for him, even to get that out of him. Look, Joe Biden ate his Wheaties. So you're going to see that as you continue to go through the transcript and look at the debate. He came with it. And you and I were communicating because, like you said, you're going through it, but I think you and I caught each other, like you said, especially on the back end a lot.
Yeah, when he had to remind him that he wasn't running against Bernie Sanders, that's when I jumped in.
Yeah, you seem to forget who you're running against. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, man, he sounded like a rapper. I mean, he was talking trash.
He was.
He was talking trash. So
he was giving in.
And then look, and obviously I'll turn over to you in terms of just general feedback. I'm so glad the story about the kids at the border resurfaced and got released, because the fact that that's not front page news every day. I mean, honestly, morally, I can't think of a worse thing than 45 has done in his administration.
It's the coyotes.
Yeah.
It's the coyotes.
Right. I'm talking about the coyotes. Right. And it's like, come on, man. But I mean, the fact that half of the kids that were separated at the border, so a little over 500, the total number was about 1,100. A little over 500, 525, something like that, haven't been reunited with their parents. And they essentially have no idea where their parents are because most of them have been deported. Mm-hmm. I mean, no one wants to say the word. So I'll say the word. The United States kidnapped these children at the border.
Mm-hmm.
That's the word for it.
Yeah,
we
they did.
kidnapped them. I actually was hoping Joe Biden would say the word, because that's what it is.
False imprisonment.
Kidnapping and false imprisonment. And it's like, I mean, it's a crime against humanity. Like, and I know, I have a penchant for hyperbole, but I mean, that was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, or more. And we can't find their parents. And like, that's a story. And the president didn't even directly answer that. Like, that's crazy.
And a total lack of disregard for the actual people who did come here illegally, that were just trying to make a better way for their kids. Right. And the people who actually have come here, gotten jobs, contributed to society, and to reduce them to coyotes and cartels and bad people. So those were the only people who brought the kids here. Correct. People didn't actually come over here and raise their families here. Like, that's
political
ridiculous.
Asylum. These people, I mean, their countries are you got narco terrorists in their countries. I mean, it's insane what's happening in their countries.
And I'm glad that Joe Biden did bring it up, and he used that word, asylum. Yeah. And he talked about like how horrible it would be if you are a child and you get sent back to a country that you don't even know. You're just roaming around some random country that you may have been born in, but you just spent like the last 7-8 years of your life in the United States. So, okay, I'm supposed to just ship you back to Ecuador and you're supposed to just be out there on the streets?
And you don't know where your parents are? Like, for all you know, your parents could be dead. I mean, if you're a child that came to the border with your parents got separated from you, you got put in essentially a concentration camp, and you don't know where your parents are. They could be dead. Mm-hmm. They may be dead. And you don't know that. Jeff Sessions, Kirsten Nielsen, Sarah Sanders, all those people who were touting this day after day and defending it, all of them should be brought up, including 45 himself. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But other key moments of the debate.
Wind kills birds.
Hey, early candidate for episode title. Sham and I were communicating. I mean, the man was sitting there. They were talking about climate change. He was talking about wind turbines. What I've told people about 45 is sometimes he talks so fast, his lies get out in front of his brain. And this was one of those times. And he was just talking, speaking in hyperbole. And he was like, but you don't know what you're talking about. And, wind kills birds. And da-da-da-da. And it's like, did you hear what you just said?
When he said, I know more about wind than you do, I died.
I know about Joe, I know more about wind than you do. Yeah, and it's like, we need Trevor Noah on here to do a 45 impression. That's my actual first 45 impression on the show, and it's not good. But yeah, I know more about wind.
Wind causes cancer. Windmills.
I mean, Sham. Again,
Joe had bars.
Joe had bars for him. He was like, this guy over here. I love what he would be like, this guy over here, Abraham Lincoln over here. A lot of people thought that was a gaffe. That was not a gaffe. That was sarcasm.
It was sarcasm.
It was exactly sarcasm because he had called himself Abraham Lincoln earlier. And he was like, Abraham Lincoln over here thinks, he's the best thing for black people. and people text me like, yo, did he just call him Abraham Lincoln? I was like, yes,
he did.
Because
it was shade at Abraham Lincoln and
exactly. Him. Exactly. Thank you. It was both.
It was well-placed shade.
Yes. Sham, listen. The only other time I remember speaking this highly of Joe Biden in this long of a stretch was when he immediately came out with the speech after 45 speech, when the virus was kind of unfolding, and 45 had done his State of the Union, or not State of the Union, but presidential address from the Oval Office. Mm-hmm. And then Joe Biden came out the day after, and Bernie Sanders came out the day after. That was a strong performance by Joe Biden. This was by far, to me, the platform, the circumstances, the context. Joe Biden came with it on this debate and showed why he, all the questions. And yes, I mean, he has his moments, but he looked like he's ready to assume this mantle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, good night, fam.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was really good. I was happy with what I heard from him. The only thing that I thought perhaps he maybe shouldn't have said was the oil thing.
Oh yeah, he's getting killed.
Because he's getting killed on
fracking?
that. And plus, well, when he said he wanted to basically eliminate the oil industry in favor of renewable industry, in renewable energy, which, I mean, that's wonderful if you would like that to happen, but that's a plan that's not even supposed to happen while you're in office. Yeah. Like, that's something that's projected to happen years from now, and you may not even be alive when that happens. So I just kind of felt like that was, he got backed in the corner and said it.
Excellent point. And honestly, he gave 45 a gift, because that's not something you want to say when you're trying to win states like Pennsylvania, when you're trying to win the Rust Belt. Mm-hmm. And, you're trying to, that's been the case for the last 15, 20 years in elections with them. You're going to replace our jobs whether it's coal, whether it's oil, whatever, with renewable energy. So basically you're telling us you're putting us out of a job. Republicans use that to get those votes. And those are swing states.
45 was all over that. He said, well, you remember that Texas? You remember that Pennsylvania? Exactly. Oklahoma, when he says that? Yeah. He's going to tear up your industry, blah, blah, blah. But he actually said by 2035 and by 2050. So, I mean, Joe Biden will not be here by then. But
right. So
it was no need to even say it.
Yeah, no, of course not. So, I mean, look, last debate. We're less than 2 weeks from the election. In general, there's nothing big that's going to come out at this point, but the overarching theme was Corona. And the only thing I'll say is more of a mention than anything, but it's a horrible mention, Sham. On Friday, the 23rd, we had 83,000 cases, the most since July.
Dang.
Of new cases. So
folks out here tripping.
We are going the entire wrong direction. There's not one state in the United States that is trending in the right direction. 35 of the states are trending down in terms of new cases and infection, and the other 15 are like level. There's no state that's improved over the last few weeks. So whether you want to call it the continuation of the horrible first wave or the second wave, whatever you want to call it, it's here.
Uncle Tony has suggested a national mask mandate.
Yeah, and real quick, since we're rounding up everything, can we talk about the attacks on Uncle Tony?
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, ridiculous. I mean, 45 is just attacking them all over the place, and even kind of did at the debate. And they still keep spreading this false narrative that Uncle Tony told everybody not to wear masks.
No, he said he didn't want them. No, he said he didn't want them taking them, using them up from people who needed them.
The healthcare workers.
There wasn't enough to go around.
There was a shortage.
So he thought that those people should be wearing them first and foremost.
Matter of fact, I believe his exact words were, "Please do not go to the store and hoard masks because the healthcare workers need them." Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what he was saying. I mean, and then they'll say, "Oh, he said it's not going to be a big deal." No, I remember what he said. He said, if we act accordingly and follow the steps we need to follow, it will not have a big effect as it could possibly have. Yeah. But we haven't done that. So yes, now here we are.
Here's the thing we need to clarify for people, and it's a shame that we need to clarify this. Uncle Tony works for NIH. Right. He does not work for the CDC.
Right.
It was the CDC who said that they did not think that masks were important and that they weren't going to be effective in the beginning. Not Anthony Fauci.
Correct. And as we talked about in, I think 2 episodes ago now, the CDC's conduct has been panned by everyone, including former members of the CDC.
Exactly.
So whatever they say, like, do the opposite at this point. They can't be trusted. Yeah, so, I mean, look, those are all the stats. Honestly, we haven't rounded the corner like we just talked about. And the problem is the holiday season is coming up. And a lot of states are finally now coming, even the so-called no mask states. I saw the governor of, I want to say North Dakota, because the governor of South Dakota is ignorant. some lady there. She's horrible. But the governor of North Dakota was like, I'm giving a Thanksgiving challenge where guys try to be virtual if you can, because we're trending in the wrong direction. Like all of this is going in the wrong direction. They're finally getting it. That, you know what, we need to at least try to mitigate this. So it's horrible. Now, before Thanksgiving, though, we have our election, hence the last debate and everything else. Sham, the voter suppression that is taking place, specifically by the Republican Party, I mean, there's no other way to put it, is absurd.
Yo, they are scared as hell they're going to lose, huh?
They are so scared. They are so scared. Can you talk about the story you sent me?
Oh, yeah. So apparently there's a landowner in Colorado, I want to say. They own a trailer park where they're renting trailers. Mm-hmm. And he sent a letter to all the tenants saying, hey, if Joe Biden wins, your rent's going to go up at least 10%. Yep. And you're going to be paying way more than you're paying now for the next couple years. But if you vote for Donald Trump, we can promise that your rent will stay the same for at least the next 2 years.
You know, my favorite part of the letter was where he, after saying all that, basically says, now I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm just telling you what will happen if one person wins versus the other. Wow. But make sure you go vote.
Wow.
Like when they printed that whole letter and I saw it, because he knew what he was doing and he knew what it looked like. He was like, but I'm not telling you to vote for. That's holding gun to someone's head and saying, okay, so sign X contract. Now, I'm not telling you that you'll die if this trigger's pulled, but blah, blah, blah. I mean, come on.
Interestingly, he wrote, I can assure you in the next 2 years, your rent will not go up. He said 2 years, right? Which means in my head, I'm like, okay, he's saying while the Senate is still Republican.
First of all, you don't even know that.
Exactly. Because why would you say 2 instead of 4 unless you were talking about local officials? So why does it matter who they vote for presidentially? Like, that whole letter just has so many problems with it.
I mean, I'm not anywhere near anyone's law school, but as a layman, I saw 3 laws broken just out the gate.
Yeah.
In the letter, there were things underlined and in bold. I mean, I'm not even looking at it, but I remember it, and it was like, what is this guy doing now? So that's one example. There were other examples of Republican machine operatives taking photos of voters at polling locations. They had to stop that. That's been litigated. They were filming people. It's voter intimidation. There's another example in Texas where ruling, so this had to go to court, and it's been upheld, Sham. There are places in Texas where people's nearest precinct is literally 50 miles away from them. And the governor, the litigation was to compel the governor to open up more voting locations so that there were, people would have better access to them. The governor denied it. This went to court. It got ratcheted up, and the Texas Court of Appeals upheld this last week. Mm-hmm. That's voter suppression. Like pure and simple. And, I've read an article from overseas, like The Guardian, where the other nations are looking at the United States when we have our presidential election. And they're like, how? It's 2020. Like, yeah, we know they are immature and basically can't even put one foot in front of the other as it pertains to the virus. But one of the things they tout to everyone else in the world is how free their elections are and how much of a democratic system they have. But then they have this just blatant voter suppression, especially for people of color. So it's absurd. It's ridiculous.
Dang. Makes me feel like I should move to Texas just for like a couple weeks so I can just drive people back and forth to the voting stations.
Sham, I'm going to tell you something right now. You went to college in Virginia, which Mostly is blue, but can sometimes flip. I went to school in Tennessee. I went to college in Tennessee. My first election was the election in 2000. You best believe I had that vote transferred ASAP. And if I could do it like anytime, go to another state. I was working in the Midwest last year when we were doing the podcast. And I had to travel all the time. I wanted to do that. I was working in Ohio. You think my vote doesn't carry weight there? Man, I was scheming on that until I had to come home.
You said Miss Swang and
yeah, swing state. Oh man, actually, you know what? That music might go in with our next story. Let me put a smile on our face before we wrap up the news. It's actually not a good look at all. So, look, when I watched CNN on the panel, one of the commentators is named Jeffrey Toobin.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Toobin has been around for a while. He actually made his bones, so to speak, reporting on OJ. So you saw him a lot, especially in the people, not the People versus OJ, not the special, but the OJ Made in America. The ESPN special. He was on there a lot because he really came to prominence by writing about the case, and he's a lawyer. So he was reporting about, just the legal aspects of it. And now, over the last maybe decade even, he's kind of propelled that into being a political commentator on CNN. But they really go to him a lot for legal issues. So you saw him a lot during the impeachment. He was definitely there like every night talking about it. Well, Mr. Toobin got himself caught up because he decided he wanted to get on a Zoom call. And damn, Sham, I just had it, but with the publication that he was working with, gosh, was it the Times? It was a paper. I'll look it up right now.
The New Yorker.
Thank you. And he was on a Zoom call with his colleague, Sham, and no other way to say it. They say my man was jacking off during the call.
What motivates you to do that during a Zoom call? Like, what about that call aroused you?
Correct.
Like what were y'all talking about?
Like, what was going on during the call?
That was so pressing that you just needed to just rub it out right then and there. Like, I don't understand. And this is not the first time this has happened. This is happening all across the country on Zoom calls across America. Like,
yeah. I remember when the pandemic first happened, Sham. Do you remember this? And maybe we talked about it on the show, not to the extent, but when people started really having to go remote, the thing went viral where the girl was on the Zoom call. She went to the bathroom doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she didn't know it. That was the thing. She didn't know. So, but this one, he clearly didn't know that his camera was still on. But it's like, Jeff Toobin, what are you doing, Slim?
He said, I thought no one on the Zoom call could see me. I thought I had muted the
I'm
Zoom
sure
video.
You did.
Muted the Zoom video, though? Wait, but why right that moment? Like, you couldn't wait till the call was over?
How long was the call? You couldn't wait till it was over?
No, like, that's the part I just can't deal with. Like, why was it so urgent?
Yes. Like, Jeff Toobin, you sit there and you give legal analysis for like 30 minutes. You seem to be a very smart person. I mean, the recklessness, I can't.
He lucky he's only suspended.
Right. I mean, CNN, what are the standards there? Because we done told a few stories about some people at CNN, and apparently they can get their job back ASAP. I guess you got to kill somebody up there.
You can say stuff. If you say stuff like from the river to the sea, you get fired. But if you jack off on Zoom, you get suspended.
I mean, that's an excellent point. Sham, hey, I didn't even think about that. But you're absolutely right. I mean, CNN put out some little statement talking about Jeffrey's going to take some time off. I guess he needs it. He's stressed out because he got rub one out like ASAP, just any time of day.
Yeah, indecent exposure is much worse than saying that quote, apparently.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Or that quote is much worse than indecent exposure. I meant to say it the other way around.
Yeah, I know what you meant. Mark Lamont Hill, right? Man, I really have not. I mean, I think I saw him like on some random show, but yeah, he really was blackballed. for that.
Bad week for brothers.
Bad week for brothers. But other than that, I mean, look, the debate was a big thing. So voter suppression, election, sham. I mean, we are a week and a half away from the election. Yeah, just letting everybody let that sink in. So that's all political and world news we got for tape. What we got for some entertainment? I have some smoke for one of the stories.
Apparently, if Donald Trump doesn't win the election, 50 Cent is gonna move. He's gonna lead the country.
So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. 50 Cent, you know, I viewed it as a troll, Sham. I mean, he basically was just saying, I'm not gonna vote for Biden because of taxes.
Yeah, right. It's hard to even just decipher what 50 Cent is serious about and what he's not. Right. I think he's just a sensationalist.
I mean, we've said it on the show since the beginning of the show. 50 and 45 are actually of the same ilk. It's hard to determine what's serious from them because they do such outlandish stuff all the time. And a lot of times, sometimes they're serious, but sometimes they'd be like, I was just playing about that. So it's like, whatever.
And he said he would leave the country. He never said he wasn't going to come back. So that's the other thing. Like I could see him saying, well, I said I was just going to leave. I ain't say I was moving. Like I could see him doing that.
Yeah. Plus we got Power Book 2 going. Like, what's up?
And 3 and 4. Like,
and 3 and 4. Like, come on, man. Yeah.
Stop playing.
You gonna leave Tariq out here hanging with no plot? Come on.
But speaking of producers,
I have smoke for this story.
You got smoke for Shonda? Or you got smoke for Netflix?
Both. Here's the story as I understand it. Shonda Rhimes, Shondaland, the creator, she has recently inked a deal with Netflix. I want to say it's $300 million, which is spectacular. I mean, good for her. Netflix are they printing money? Like, good gracious, they gave the Game of Thrones people, I want to say $300 or $400 million to be showrunners as well. Now, that in and of itself is a story, but what has come out underneath that is that Shonda Rhimes was displeased with things at ABC/Disney. And one of the things that took it to the tipping point was that her sister, so she as an employee of ABC, had complimentary tickets to Disneyland. This was Disneyland, Sham, not even Disney World, but whatever. Disneyland. And she wanted to get the same type of complimentary full day pass for her sister and her family. Her sister's family, I should say. And apparently the executives at ABC and Disney balked at that and wouldn't give it to her. Or like they gave her a hard time about it. And then when they finally did give it to her, so they were like, no one does this, which, I mean, that's a lie. Like, what? But when they finally gave it to her, this is trifling. They gave it to her and then she gave it to her sister and then the sister went to the park and it didn't work. So, okay. So here's my smoke. Everyone in this looks trifling, in my opinion. The value of the ticket, Sham, is like $180 or something like that for a full day pass at Disneyland, from what I read in the article. Now, look, Shonda Rhimes, I get it. You're the creator of Shondaland. Like, they've given you the ticket. They need to treat you with some respect. You want a perk for your sister. That's fine. The fact that they're balking at it, I understand why you would be upset at that. I do. But at the end of the day, this is $180 ticket.
Not even $154.
Thank you. Like, this to me, you know what this reminds me of, Sham? The Spike Lee, like, coming in through the back entrance. Exactly. Story at Madison Square Garden. Like, the whole, like, it's the principle of the thing. The principle is dumb. Like, this is a stupid issue to be upset about. Now, if you want to leave ABC and you want to leave Disney and you don't like them, that's fine. And you want to go with Netflix, for business or any other reason. I think even in the article I read, she said, look, writing for network TV is like a grind and you have all these stupid deadlines and all these rules. That's fine. That's a legitimate reason. And that's probably the real reason. But to cite this, you look trifling. Now, ABC and Disney, this woman has created just basically saved your network. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
I wouldn't say they saved ABC, but
why? What was ABC doing before Scandal?
She
at the time,
before Scandal.
Yeah, wasn't Scandal the first one?
No, Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. You're right.
Show than Scandal.
Right. No. I apologize. Thank you. Grey's Anatomy, and
it's still on.
Right. CBS was like killing her. The timeline that I understand network dominance to have is NBC, I'm talking about from the 90s. So like Must See TV and all that. So like, Seinfeld, Friends, all that. And then CBS kind of picked up the mantle, especially starting with reality TV and Survivor and Big Brother and all that. And then they started doing CSI and all that. And then to your point, Grey's Anatomy and all that is what brought ABC back to prominence.
There's some show, Desperate Housewives. It was a bunch of shows that came and kind of, but to say that she saved an entire network that had been around, that's a little hyperbole.
Kept them afloat.
But I see your point.
Okay.
She has generated about $2 billion for Disney over the last decade and a half.
Right. Y'all can't float my sister a ticket.
And so I have no problem with that.
What the studio's position?
Yeah, I have no problem.
Oh, your sister need to buy her own damn ticket? We paying?
No, you can buy your sister a ticket. You make tens of millions of dollars and you coming in here asking for a freebie. This is the thing that I cannot stand.
Wow. Yeah, let's talk. Keep going.
This is the thing that I cannot stand about celebrities. Like, why do we keep giving celebrities things that they can afford 10 times over? Like that whole lifetime free Popeyes thing for Beyonce. Beyonce don't need free chicken. She can afford to pay for the chicken. Like,
okay, I agree with that.
This is the type of stuff that makes people like laymen, like regular people like us, like irritated all the time. Like, it's $154 ticket. As a matter of fact, you could afford to get her even better value of a ticket. You could have got her a private tour. You could have got all types of stuff that was well more than $154, and that's chump change for her. I'm sure she thinks that's chump change for Disney, but they pay you a salary. You've brought them shows. They've paid you for your shows. Like, to think that they should have to give you anything else on top of that is just silly to me. Especially if they've already told you that they don't do this generally.
So I think even in discussing it in just these few minutes, this is what I like to call an infield fly ball issue, where you got two sides of something and both of them are looking at it, and somebody could just catch this ball and take control of this issue, but they both let it drop right in between them. Okay. Yep. And everybody looks dumb. I agree with everything you said in the sense that Shonda Rhimes, calm the hell down and buy your sister the ticket. Or Shonda Rhimes' sister, buy yourself the ticket, to be honest with you. If you want to go,
it was a gift. It was a gift.
If you want to go to Disneyland that bad. However, Disney, ABC. I don't know the other parameters of your relationship with Shonda Rhimes, but I mean, what are we all talking about? Why are we making this issue? She's asking your Beyonce example. The reason I was kind of chiming in when you were saying it, we're talking. That's a lifetime supply of Popeyes or whatever. That's ridiculous. To your point, yes. My sister is coming out one time to bring her family to Disneyland. Can we get her a ticket? Now, if you want to be irritated with Shonda Rhimes after giving her the ticket, I'm with it. Like, did you really need that? But yeah, here you go. Fine. Let her go and let her family go. It's like everyone looks small and petty. Tom Petty. Like, this is the end, like they say. Everybody looks petty in this. You know, and that's why it reminds me of the Spike Lee Knicks thing too, because it's like both of y'all look crazy. Like, somebody just take control of the issue and just put it to bed. But she came out with it. Yeah,
I wouldn't be mad if there was some type of employee discount. Because that's a reasonable thing. You work someplace, you work for a company. Typically, you get some type of perk.
Absolutely.
You get like a discount, 25%,
10, 15,
whatever. That is, for me, not unheard of. Do that. But just be like, oh, she's Shonda Rhimes and gonna give us because she asked, and this is not something that we do. Like, no, like, and you shouldn't be out here mad about it because they didn't want to do it. Then when they did it though, they was real petty because
Dale, yeah. So I mentioned at the beginning, but that's the funniest part. I mean, go ahead and give it a second, whatever. But turn the barcode off. Now, I would be mad if I was her for that, because that now you've humiliated me and my sister and our family. Like, y'all are being petty. So yes, the fake ticket is not okay.
That message didn't come to get all the way down.
I would love to have been in the room like, hey, Shonda, we thought about it. You know what? This is dumb. Like, here you go. Like, tell your sister have a good time. Send us some pics for the park.
Meanwhile, y'all gave me a messed up ticket, so I'm going to Netflix. Come on,
I'm going to Netflix.
That's not why you going to Netflix.
Right.
Netflix.
You're going because you have a ridiculously flexible schedule, and they gave you $300 million off the top.
They gave you a sweet deal. So
God, yeah. Crazy. And so to make your old job look bad, you want to tell this horrible story, but it kind of makes you look bad too. So
exactly. Yeah. Anyway, that's good.
Anyway, speaking of streaming though.
Yeah,
and we didn't really talk about it, and we haven't talked about them when they came out, but just found this interesting because you and I have been talking about a lot on the show about just what entertainment venues and studios and things and platforms are doing to adjust to the pandemic. Quibi was a platform that was, I guess it was a joint venture with some of the people from Microsoft and somebody, I forget the backstory, but the platform's point was to give out just short, very succinct shows on mobile access, right? So like you access it on your phone. And they debuted, I want to say, Sham, was it like March or April?
It was sometime earlier this year.
Yeah. Look, my girl Natalie Emmanuel, who I love, had a show with Kevin Hart on there called.
Kevin Hart's got a couple shows on there.
Oh, I didn't know it was a couple. Really?
Yeah, he's very prevalent on Quibi.
Okay, so and I think the show I'm talking about was called not Get Hard. That's a movie he did, but it was something. It was a play on Die Hard, but they folded. So they are announcing that they're going to divest shares back to their shareholders, give the money back, and not try to pursue any other ventures. And they're going to essentially fold up shop.
Part of the problem with Quibi for me, I was telling you before we started recording that T-Mobile Tuesdays at a promotion, you can get like a half a year of Quibi for free, blah, blah, blah. Which that ain't helping. Why are you giving people 6 months? But anyway, right. Part of the problem for me is it was only on your phone. You couldn't cast it. So there was no like Chromecast extension. There was none of that. And they were planning on rolling out some type of casting function like within the next year or so.
Right.
But so I'm not a type of person that watches TV on my phone a lot. I have to be in specific situations to do that. And honestly, today at the hairdresser is a perfect example of when I would do that. But I had Disney Plus on there. I had Netflix. I had a bunch of other things that I'm already emotionally attached to or have already engaged in that take priority over Quibi.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And you hit the nail on the head. The article I read about it, Quibi was trying to be too cute. They thought that there was a specific niche. So they understand that everyone's on the move. We're in this society of like low attention span. And so that's why they made their shows like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And they thought that, everyone's so on the move that they wouldn't even be in their house. So this is pre-pandemic. And the logic was, people were so on the move that they're just going to want to watch stuff on their phone. Like as they're going from home to work or working out or whatever, or going to a restaurant, and they're not going to, they're moving away from watching stuff at home. Number one, that's a little bit too presumptuous. Like you said, to not even allow casting, like you're cutting off a resource. Why would someone want to watch something on their phone? Or why would someone only want to watch something on their phone? I guess is my point. And then number two, the pandemic hit and completely screwed them, because then everybody had to stay home. So it was like, okay, well, we can't figure it out. And I'm glad you brought up the casting, because as you I think alluded to, they eventually had to come to the point. Now, they were planning to let casting go as like an extra service, so you had to pay more for it. But then they had to capitulate and actually allow casting just to try to draw in more subscribers. So they were getting desperate, and it just didn't take. But that's definitely part flawed planning, but also part casualty of the pandemic as well. Definitely. But yeah. So a lot of stars, they had a lot of stuff going on there. But anyway.
Later, Quibi.
Later, Quibi.
You ready to get into some sports?
Always. Got a lot of good sports. What we got going on? So we talked last week about the coaching carousel in the NBA. We got one confirmation. Stan Van.
Stan the man.
Stan the man. Stan Van Gundy has been hired with New Orleans. So we fleshed out all the good stuff about the Van Gundys in general. Stan, specifically with the Pelicans, I think we both think this will be a good hire. So.
Oh, absolutely. We both were on the same page of that. Yep. I'm laughing because Marcin Gortat decided he needed to warn Stan Van Gundy about dealing with LeVar Ball.
First of all, that's hilarious. I know Marcin Gortat from his time with the Wizards, and he did some good work for us, but he also ran his mouth quite a bit. But that being said, the subject matter is LeVar Ball, and so I'm inclined to believe whatever warning he put out. But Gortat was famously, so he did a lot of things in DC, and like I said, he was here for a few years. He was here for part of our good Wizards teams, and when John Wall got hurt, as per usual, and we were playing well with him and Bradley Beal and a bunch of other people, he famously said, with John out, everybody eats. And, it was a swipe at John. It basically was like, we're not successful when John's in, because basically he called him a ice box. So, and that was like the tip of the iceberg. Apparently he and John pretended to get along, but didn't.
Oh, he said that Ball Sr. has to deal with Stan. Good luck.
Oh, no, Stan, listen, you know why I like Stan? My favorite Stan Van Gundy moment, Sham, and you'll probably know what I'm talking about as soon as I start alluding to it. Remember when things were going south with him and Dwight?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And in Orlando, and the reports had started coming out that Dwight wanted him out. And it was like a leak, but Dwight wouldn't own up to it. And so Stan was at a press conference, and it was obvious that Dwight Howard had leaked that report, that he didn't want Stan Van Gundy as the coach. And Stan Van Gundy was sitting there answering questions after a game in the tunnel. And then people point blank asked him, like, do you think Dwight Howard leaked that report? And he was like, I'm not even going to address that, like, whatever. I'm just sitting here trying to coach the team. Coach speak. And then Dwight Howard walked out there because he thought it was his time to start answering questions, and put his arms around Stan. And Stan looked at him like, don't touch me. Yeah, like, nah, I'm saying this to them, but yeah, I believe you did that report, and walked off. And I remember watching that, like, he's not having it, and he's not here for play, and he's not here for pretend. The Van Gundy brothers are real. He
ain't out here about to like acquiesce to some goofball's foolishness.
Exactly.
Consequently, though, JJ Redick, who was Dwight Howard's teammate at the time, he jumped right out there and said Stan Van Gundy was the best coach he played for in the NBA. Wow. So he's super excited that he's coming to New Orleans, because that's where JJ Redick is now.
And, I always like when players that are as old as JJ Redick say stuff like that, especially if they've been around the league, because that's like 4 or 5 other coaches that's basically a swipe at.
Mostly Doc.
Doc. I was about to say, JJ Redick has definitely played for Doc Rivers. So, yeah. All right. Well, look, look, your boy Zion. How do you think that's going to work? We talked about him going down there, but we didn't really talk about that specifically. How do you think that's going to work out?
I think it's going to work out fine because, as you talked about, Stan Van Gundy and his relationship with Dwight Howard, I think part of the reason why that broke down is because he wanted to hold Dwight Howard accountable.
Absolutely. Great point.
And I know for a fact that from playing under Coach K, that Zion will have no problem with that. And especially when you have somebody like JJ Redick there as well, that will be kind of like an extension. So I think actually this probably will work out great.
Yeah. No, spectacular point. And you know what? The other thing is Zion Williamson is not Dwight Howard. I mean, he's just not. He's made of different stuff. Better stuff, in my opinion. So, I'm very excited to see how that's going to pan out. So good for him. I haven't heard much about, which is kind of surprising because it looked like it was on the 1 yard line with Jeff in Houston. So
maybe them numbers ain't right.
Hey, I'm about to say, I guess we talking money because I mean, look, Jeff. I didn't even think about this when we were talking about it, but Jeff's been calling games, and would you consider them the, I guess, premium like broadcasting on ABC?
I mean, yeah, Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson.
And Mark Jackson.
That's the best combo they have.
Right. So my point is that money probably is looking real good. So, I mean, to your point about money, Houston better be coming with it to get him out of there. It kind of reminds me of how the Raiders had to basically sell John Gruden a quarter of the team to get him to come coach again because he was getting so much money from Monday Night Football. So it might be about the money. It might be about the money because I would have expected that to have been wrapped up by now. As a matter of fact, when we were talking about it, I thought Jeff was going to be sooner than Stan.
Yeah, me too. And according to Prime Bronze Slurper #1, Brian Windhorse, he agreed.
I like
basically jumped out there and said that he was going to be the dude. But, since then, Daryl Morey has quit. Now they're talking about
we didn't even really talk about that. Yeah, he gave us so much fodder on that show.
He did.
On this show.
He out here just tweeting.
Yeah. And putting people on the curb and doing whatever you want.
Drop Melo right on the curb. Now they're talking about Steven Silas. They're talking about maybe John Lucas. So, and then they're bringing up all these bad memories from the first time he was with the Rockets. And, in the point blank period, there's no rush to hire a coach if you're the Rockets because you don't even have a GM yet. So maybe they're looking for a combo. You never know. So
and actually, I agree with that. Get the GM in there first. And honestly, I mean, when you're dealing with people like Russ and James Harden, I love Russ, but you got to get this right. You can't afford to bring in the wrong person. I'm not saying they have to win the championship next year, but these personalities are delicate. Russ, James Harden, bring in the right person. Take your time. I think we both agree, though. Jeff Van Gundy would be the right person.
Oh, he absolutely would be the right person. I think it's a lot of details as they need to figure out. Also, my bad. The Rockets do have a new GM. It's Raphael Stone. So
my fault. Okay. Well, look, I'm glad we went through this exercise, though, because in the sense that make sure I guess the structure in the organization is solid. Jeff Van Gundy knows his role in there. No disrespect to him, but Jeff Van Gundy, I mean, he's Jeff Van Gundy to a fault. If things aren't solid today, he come in there thinking he's running the whole shop. Get a GM in there. Let's have our meetings. Let's know what our roles are, and then that trickles down to the players understanding what's happening as well.
So what's the plan with the NBA when they starting back up?
So story came out actually yesterday and trickled a little bit into today. The new proposal is that they start on Christmas. Yeah, I like it. No,
that's the old proposal.
No, well, so there are like 100 proposals in the air actually, but I think the one that's gathering steam is that they start on Christmas. There's still a lot of kind of debate about, it's kind of like the NFL, like fans in doing all that stuff. The problem is the Olympics are going to be next year as well. So actually, I saw a lot of this on PTI today. They kind of laid it out completely. The Olympics that were scheduled for this year have been moved to July of next year. So the NBA wants to try to get everything wrapped up before July. And the only way to do that, but they may have to contract some games, which to me would be perfect. Have like a 60-game season, started in December, ended in the regular season, late April, whatever, a game every other night up until that point. Do your playoffs, have everything wrapped up by July, and then have the Olympics.
I feel like COVID has given every NBA player what they've been wanting: shortened season.
Yeah.
They've been trying to fight for a shortened season now for several years. It's been the talk of a lot of the players and a lot of the coaches about this shortened season, which I think is crap. But they're getting what they want.
I agree with you. It's crap. Well, no, okay. Well, the crap is they're being babies. Yes, about the length of the season. I want the shortened season because there's no intrigue. There's too many games. That being said, the players better be careful what they wish for because shortened season means less money. And a lot of them don't understand that until the owners come back to them and say, okay, well, I mean, you're doing less work.
So, because you get paid per game, per day. Like
correct.
Less days, less checks.
And, once COVID is out of the equation, hopefully at some point soon, less games means less gate money, means less revenue for our team, means less money for you. So what are you talking about? Then they'll try to play 100 games after that. Players don't really think about stuff. They want money, but see, they're guaranteed. Sham, I hate to say it. I know I sounded like a dictator anytime we talk about the bubble. That's why I don't really NBA players like y'all get paid to hoop and get guaranteed money to hoop. Mm-hmm. Like stop. Like stop what you're talking about. But I do want a shortened season just for the intrigue. And shortened season, compact games every other night. You get a night off, then another game. That's it. And I think it would be spectacular, actually. So that's my little take. Story that we talked about before, and as we kind of bleed into the NFL, let's just get this out the way right now. Sham, I mean, we're 90s teenage children of that sort. Remember Dana Stubblefield?
Yes, sir.
Man, so Dana Stubblefield was Rookie of the Year in 93. DPOY in 97. Won the Super Bowl with the 49ers, played a couple years in Washington, then went back to the 49ers, and then played with my Raiders. So he had a probably 10-year career at most. Got sentenced today. Sham, the man tried to lured a developmentally disabled. So I'm going to go ahead and assume mentally disabled.
Intellectually disabled, apparently.
Yeah, I saw developmentally in the headline. Woman to his home.
Under the guise that she was applying for a babysitting job.
Then takes her at gunpoint, rapes her. Yeah, like, so that's the story. He raped her.
Yeah, that's the story. Like he called her there for an interview for the babysitting job. She left. He called her back there.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, he called her to come back for something. And then when she came back, he basically locked the door and put a gun, pretty much forced her to stay in with a gun, raped her by force,
Made to
oral
do oral sex.
copulation
Right.
by force.
Yeah.
False imprisonment, which was the part that he lured her with the gun and made her stay.
Yeah.
But and I was saying to you before this, like, what is with these football players and what in these sexual assault cases, man?
Man.
Like, and he's 49 years old, so that's still relatively young.
Yeah. Yeah. And this happened maybe 2 years ago or something like that. This case is, a case like this is drawn out.
2015.
So, yeah. Oh, okay. So 5 years ago. So yeah, he was in his mid-40s at the time. You know what's sad, Sham? He probably got the majority of the time for the false imprisonment than the rape because of the kidnapping.
The weapon, the gun.
Yeah,
too.
and the gun, right. Which is like crazy. You should get the time for the rape. Yeah, that's just everything that's wrong in our society. But at any rate, yeah, Dana Stubblefield, like, dude, what? Okay, yeah. Goodbye to you. 15 to life. Let's make that life and move on.
Man, I don't even know. Like I was saying to you, like him and Darren Sharper, Kellen Winslow Jr., like, y'all just out here and football players. Aaron Hernandez. I mean, y'all out here top of the world and more so than basketball players, which is why I think groupies just aren't even thinking. Like football players are like the cream of the crop. Like women go after football players like no one would believe. Like I watch these shows about like, wags and like women who are just like dating athletes and they are like number one on the list. They don't even make as much guaranteed money as the rest, but for whatever reason, women want football players. You got women throwing stuff at you and y'all out here taking it, especially Darren Sharper. That dude was a very attractive man. Like the fact that you would be out here taking it from women who would probably give it to you willingly is just like ridiculous. And it's all about control and being forceful and just taking what you want. And it's ridiculous. And they're going to say it's all because of CTE, but we'll never know until they're gone.
I mean, you can't, the CTE thing, I'm more sympathetic on CTE for the retired players I see who can like move. CTE, yeah, okay. Evil is evil.
Mm-hmm.
Brain damage to me doesn't equal rape. Like, stop. Okay? Yeah, so I'm not trying to hear that. But
that's what they're gonna say. I can already tell you that.
Yeah, I'm not trying. I know sometimes I sound insensitive, especially about mental. I'm not insensitive about mental health. To me, there's a difference between mental health is the mental capacity to do things and good versus evil. I don't have much time for that. To me, a mentally disabled person who does an evil act they're doing it less efficiently than they would if they had the capacity to do it. So that's a quick take. Rashaka at thestopplayinpodcast.com. Haven't gotten any emails yet, guys. You guys agree with everything I'm saying?
That's because that's not your email address.
I know. All right. Damn. As we wrap up the show, let's get into a preview of week 7. We are on the cusp.
We're on the cusp of Dumpster Bowl Part 4.
The NFC least for real. I mean,
the Cowboys and the Washington team.
The NFC East has been working on this lease label for years. Like
they're actually living it now.
Yeah, every year, like, the winners like 9-7, 10-6, and everybody else is kind of like hovering around. But this year, Sham, I read an article that said every NFC team, aside from playing each other, we have to win out every single game until week 13 to get the division back to 500.
Oh, you ain't know that the Eagles are going to go 11-4-1?
Yeah, win it out. There you go. Man, you already got a tie. As you said, it's not a loss. Let's start with the Birds. Give us a Birds report.
So in Dumpster Bowl Part 3.
You guys started week 7. Yeah, that was an entertaining game.
I mean, it was. Look, I always mark off a W. I say this every year when I see the Giants. It was a little touch and go there, but we pulled it out in the fourth quarter. So look, Like, we're a disaster. Like, Deshaun Jackson came out there looking like Deshaun Jackson from 10 years ago and then was balling and then promptly had an injury that will keep him out for probably the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Carson Wentz is a
high ankle sprain for Deshaun Jackson.
High ankle sprain.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't the knee though, because if you saw the hit, it looked like it was the knee,
and it was a dirty hit.
It was dirty as hell.
From the Giants. Yeah.
It was like, okay, we're not about to have another miracle in the Meadowlands, even though we in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna hit you hard, and that's basically what happened. Like, so the Giants, they trash anyway. But
real quick before we get off them. Sham, if you ever want a cheap laugh during the week or for the rest of your life, go to Giants Fans Reacts after that game. They are so sad. It's entertaining to watch their reactions to that game.
I mean, they are sad.
Yeah.
Sad group of people.
Sad, mad. Yeah.
But Carson Wentz is a straight up jack in the box. This dude, like, you'll be like, all right, that was cool. All right, Wentz, all right. And then he do something like so foolish. You'd be like, what the hell? It's like Brett Favre reincarnated.
My friends were arguing. They were arguing with me, and I was like, when does Carson Wentz become so stupid? Like, a lot of stuff he does is just dumb.
Yeah, that crossbody pass 80 yards to the end zone.
Or even like for his own personal safety. Like, I feel like his pocket presence has regressed. Tremendously.
It's like he don't know what to do in there.
Right. And he takes hits he doesn't need to take. And he does things that, like, it's like, you're like fourth, fifth, however many years in the league. Like, you shouldn't take that hit. Like, what are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Brandon Graham, my guy.
Hey. Yeah.
Saved the game.
You've been talking him up, and rightfully so. He saved the game, like you said.
Saved the Super Bowl. Saved this game.
Yeah.
He balling. He balling.
So look, if the Cowboys beat the Washington football team tomorrow, they will be 3-4 somehow. So technically they'll be in front. But if they don't win that game, which is entirely possible, y'all will be in front. So there's, more than a good chance.
As it stands right now, this very moment, we're in first place.
You're in first place.
Ridiculous to me, but
it's crazy.
But yeah,
but here we are.
Now, I want to talk about a couple things before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
So last week during the Ravens game, they left 7 points on the field. There was 2 missed 2-point conversions and a missed field goal.
Yes.
They left 7 points on the field again this week.
Yes, they did.
A missed field goal and 2 missed 2-point conversions. While I respect that Doug Peterson does take the risk, he goes for it. And in a lot of cases, he gets it. Like, at what point are we going to look at the tape and be like, look, we need to take these points? Or
go ahead.
Look at your field goal kicker and figure out why the heck he can't make field goals all of a sudden.
I think it's a great question. Do you think he's overcompensating a little bit for going for that tie? Because his natural inclination, to your point when we talked about that, is always aggressive, and that was one of the few times that he kind of got clubbed for it a little bit. So maybe he's like overcompensating in the aftermath of that. Any thought on that?
It's possible. Again, I didn't see the game that they tied, so I have no like clear analysis of like, what happened during that. I've only going by what I'm hearing, so it's possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where's Doug Peterson at right now? Like
he the same place Carson Wentz is. They somewhere in a bubble together.
All right, so Eagles trash though. You said it multiple times, so Eagles that's kind of where you are with it.
Yeah, they're trash.
Yeah, and NFC's trash. So look, NFC's though. I-95 bias, whatever you want to call it. Intrigue all over the place. So, all right, so that's the Eagles. Now the other team on the other side of that, the Giants. Look, that was a devastating loss for them. You can say what you want. They had complete control of that game at the end, and Evan Ingram dropped that ball.
No, It all went downhill when Daniel Jones didn't make it to the end zone.
Now, they ended up scoring on that play, but that is the Giants season in a nutshell. That run.
They scored on that play, but that's
that drive, I should say.
That drive. Yeah. They scored on that drive, but that took the air out of the whole team when he did that.
My man was running and just couldn't believe that he actually had the space. He outran himself.
He tripped over his own feet.
Yeah, and just fell to the ground. That's the Giants.
I couldn't believe he had the space. Like, where were you, Fletcher Cox?
Yeah. So we just gonna blame singularly Fletcher. I mean, he did run up the middle.
Yeah, exactly. Don't even do it.
Yeah, like Fletcher Cox. I would need to see exactly what you were doing on that play. But look, okay. So the Giants, like, disaster. I mean, that loss, y'all really, as trash as y'all are, y'all drove a stake in their heart. Their fans are despondent. They were like,
isn't that what we always do though?
Yeah.
They always feel like they're about to win and then we just come.
I mean, yeah, that was devastating.
8 straight.
So Evan Ingram, I mean, you dropped the game. Like when you dropped that third down, you dropped the entire game.
And that running back that they had that came in, he was cooking. He was balling.
He was cooking a little bit. Yeah.
Our defense.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy.
I was thoroughly entertained. So okay. So moving off the NFC. So not the NFC entirely. So
no, we
Dallas.
can move. What else is left?
No, because we need to talk about Dallas and Washington. We need to talk about both. Dallas, look, they got destroyed by Arizona, also in primetime on Monday. So Dallas is playing Washington, so we can talk about them both and then wrap them up. Kyler Murray and all them. So just that experiment is working better than I thought it would.
Yo, they throttled them without even having to give D-Hop the ball.
Correct. Sham, they already talking about not firing Mike McCarthy. They definitely want to fire Mike Nolan as a DC down there in Dallas. But Mike McCarthy's seat is already surprisingly warm, and we're talking about like week 6.
Yeah, but your boy got like how many years to screw it up?
Who?
Who was their coach last year? That's now the Giants offensive
Jason
coordinator.
Garrett. He got a decade.
He got a decade to screw it up, but Mike McCarthy gets what, 6 games? Like,
right.
Out of here.
But the only problem is that players are starting to anonymously come out and talk trash about the coaching staff. So that's what came out this week about Dallas.
Whatever.
Yeah, they're talking about they're not prepared.
How about you anonymously talk trash about yourselves?
Exactly.
Y'all look like trash.
Y'all are trash. The only other notable, Ezekiel Elliott is fumbling the ball all over the place.
It's getting worse.
Jerry Jones, I would not be surprised if he's calling them all kinds of racial slurs behind closed doors.
But one of the play-by-play announcers said that that's been an issue with him since he's been in the league.
Since he's been in the league, not in Ohio State, which is crazy. Yeah,
but I don't remember him. I mean, I don't watch all their games.
Not in the league. That was false. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, they said that, and I was like, really?
It's been an issue the last, definitely this year, because even coming into the game, I think he had like 3 fumbles, and then he had 2 more here. But no. Especially like his first year, I think Zeke had like 2 fumbles in like 2 years, his first 2 years or whatever. So no, it was not an issue, but that game was horrific. Red Rifle, look, the offensive line, Dallas is decimated. They're not playing well. McCarthy needs to earn his bones and get with Andy Dalton and get this together. Otherwise, this situation is going south quickly. Washington football team, Kyle Allen came in there last week. And I mean, he did not play well. He had a horrible fumble that looked like it looked like they had his family under hostage and he needed to make the point spread to pay off some mobsters. That's the fumble he made. Like, he just gave the other team the ball. But Washington football team is also not good. They're still going to, I think, trot out Kyle Allen this week. If not, then what's his name? Alex Smith will come out. But Dwayne Haskins is coming nowhere near that job. Ron Rivera has made that plain. So
he don't want it. So that's fine too.
He don't want it. All right. Divisions. Tampa or South. Tampa is playing my Raiders. That game was moved from Sunday night, Sham. I was looking forward to it. My Raiders have a COVID outbreak that is ridiculous. So because of the COVID outbreak, they have moved that game from Sunday night to Sunday afternoon. So it's 4:30. I don't know why they didn't move it to Monday night. Exactly.
That's backwards.
Exactly. Thank you. I feel like the league goes out of its way to screw my team, but whatever. But anyway, but Tom Brady and them look good. They beat the hell out of Aaron Rodgers and them.
Yo, Aaron Rodgers had 3.6 fantasy points.
Yeah. That was his worst game in quite a while. Green Bay, I think that's an anomaly, but
absolutely.
Yeah. So they'll be fine. But Tampa, I think the biggest story, you've been saying this. Gronk getting his legs. Mm-hmm. He and Tom, that chemistry is still going. So I'm hoping my boys can slow it down, but we can. We're horrible defense.
Well, they've just added another person.
Yeah, we did. Okay. So
they just added Antonio Brown. How are you just gonna gloss over that?
Oh, I mean, Tampa. I thought you was talking about us. I thought you said we added. Yeah, we signed somebody. Yeah, Tampa signed AB. Now, AB will not be active this week because he's still suspended through week 8. Because I was furious. I thought that AB specifically signed with these dudes to play us this week. And Sham,
that's a very narcissistic view.
I mean, that's what AB would do.
Oh, no, he wouldn't. I feel like he would do that more so with Pittsburgh.
He was trying to screw us too. But
he actually liked y'all.
No, he didn't.
He loved y'all.
No, he didn't. Revisit AB's time with us on another time. For our listeners' sake, we'll keep going. Yeah, they signed AB though. Yo, Tom Brady must love AB. What exactly do they talk about, Sham?
I don't know.
But avocado shakes?
Very charitable fella.
I mean, he really must be vouching for him. Now, I will say this, though. I keep forgetting. Bruce Arians was the OC in Pittsburgh probably around the same time they drafted AB. So he's definitely worked with him in the past. So I keep forgetting that. And that's a lot of people think it is Tom Brady. No, that's Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians has worked with him. So, but that's a significant upgrade. Sham, another intrigue in the NFC South. Have you heard about the Michael Thomas situation in New Orleans?
I know they ain't fucking with him.
And he's not fucking with them. They're talking about trading him.
Get out.
So Michael Thomas has been quote unquote injured for weeks. And I know this because I have him on my fantasy team. I had to trade him in one of my leagues because somebody was begging me for him for weeks. And I was like, well, he's going to play this week. And then finally, like last week, when he got medically cleared and then got in a fight with someone at practice and got downgraded for the game, I was like, okay, I can't have this dude on my team anymore. Like, this is ridiculous. So, I mean, Michael Thomas is probably, we talked about it, maybe top, 6, 7 receiving the league?
There's people talking about he like top 3 right now.
Oh, well, definitely coming off last year. I mean, top 5, yes.
I mean, what did he win last year?
He
Offensive
definitely
player of the year or something like that.
And he broke a yardage record, I'm pretty sure. He broke some kind of receiving record. But look, I mean, he's also ignorant. Like, he gets on social media and just starts talk trash all the time. So long story short, it looks like the New Orleans Saints are looking to trade him. So therefore, he keeps coming on the injury report, even though it looks like he's not hurt. So that situation is getting ugly. But other than that, I mean, Breeze is not typical Breeze. He's looking old, but they're playing well.
Carolina's like playing Jack in the Box.
Yeah, a little
Sean
bit.
Payton.
Yeah,
Sean Payton, funny.
What do you say?
His response to the rumors of him of them trading Michael Thomas is outsiders on the inside where they belong.
Wow. Hey, I see you, Sean. I see you out here. All right. So Carolina, Teddy Bridgewater is doing very well. Matt Rule, they're doing well. So they're moving along.
The Falcons finally got their first win.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Raheem Morris. The Falcons are still trash. Yeah.
Fool's gold.
Fool's gold. Yeah, don't do it. Please don't do it. Hey, Sham, I know I be sounding bad going on these black coaches like this. Like it's not cute. What
the
I'm
proof
doing.
is in the pudding.
Now the Panthers play the Saints. The Saints are going to beat them. So,
I feel like the Panthers are going to beat the Saints.
Really?
I do. Just like I felt like y'all were going to beat the Saints. I have that same feeling.
I mean, our defense is terrible, and again, we barely beat them. But yes, you were correct.
A win is a win.
Yeah, and I mean, I celebrated it last week, but we've been off. Yeah, we beat Kansas City too. All right, Browns, Bengals. Oh, now the Browns. We have been talking about them. I had in some favorable light. Yeah, Pittsburgh came and just throttled them. They got Baker Mayfield out there thinking he don't belong in the league. No, I'm sorry. They're saying he doesn't belong in the league, and he's fighting back on that. The Browns are still 4-2.
Yeah, like how does he not belong in the league and they're 4-2?
Yeah, people are talking trash about him just off that one game. Now, granted, it's not like he set the world on fire the whole season, but he hasn't played that horribly. But I think that'll be a good game, Browns-Bengals. I actually like the Bengals for that. Joe Burrow's playing well, and I think he'll break through.
The Browns had literally won 4 straight. What is that? I don't know.
Exactly. It's a week-to-week league. You know, we both know it. Packers, Texans, I like Green Bay for that. They're going to bounce back. That being said, Bill O'Brien, I need the stink of Bill O'Brien to be completely out the Texans facility. So, Deshaun Watson, as long as it should be a decent game. It's in Houston, so maybe they'll put up a good fight. Bills, Jets. The Bills need to throttle the Jets. The Bills had a very, very rough time against Kansas City. Kansas City ran all over them. The Bills need to reestablish that defense. So I think they will against the Jets. The Jets are not good. So.
Oh yeah, they're gonna crush the Jets.
They're gonna crush
terrible.
them. Yeah. Steelers Titans. That's an excellent game.
Oh wow,
that is a spectacular game.
Both of them are undefeated.
Yep, both of them are undefeated. I'm gonna go ahead and go Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. I always give them the benefit of the doubt, and this seems to be one of those years where they have understood that don't think you're too good. Just go out and do what you do. And Ben's, he's looking good. Receivers looking good, but I think it'll be close. It'll be a good game. Who you got?
I don't know. It's in Tennessee. I don't know. It's the 1:00 game.
Yeah, it's 1:00. They need to move that actually.
And it's up against the Cowboys Washington game. So
right.
Which one are we watching?
Yeah, you know my vote. But anyway, well, I guess we have some other parties involved, huh? But Lions.
Actually, it's 3 against 1.
I agree. Lions, Falcons, Slot Bowl. Who you liking that though? Slot Bowl is always entertaining.
I like the Lions, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons got all excited because they won last week.
Yeah, I think I like the Falcons. My animus against Matt Patricia just knows no bounds, I guess. But I think I like the Falcons in that. Chiefs, Broncos. I like the Chiefs in that. Kansas City. I mean, look, they took the loss against us, but they still put up 32 against us, and then they came out and rolled right over the Bills.
And the Broncos are terrible. And
the Broncos are bad.
Who's their quarterback this week? They're not in the Blake Bortles business anymore.
Well, Blake Bortles was their backup. Rippon, I'm assuming either that or Drew Lock may be coming back just now for them. So
there's such a quarterback carousel there. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, John Elway needs to go ahead and suit up if he wants to solve the quarterback problem or try to convince Peyton Manning to come back.
Let's see. Jaguars, Chargers.
Chargers. Yep. Really?
I got Jags.
That's a interesting pick. I don't like the Chargers for what they did with Tyrod Taylor, but I like them for this game. Now they don't really have any home field advantage, so even if they were fans, nobody comes. You like Jax for real? Do you know they're talking about benching Gardner?
I don't know why. Minshew's balling.
I know. I don't know what they're doing. All right. Interesting pick there. Pats 49. Jimmy G going back to Foxborough.
Yeah, how about that?
Who you like?
I have no faith in either team.
I know, right?
So.
Yeah. Has Cam recovered? I feel like he's still sick.
Maybe,
and I feel like he wasn't 100%.
There are, COVID is now a pre-existing condition.
Yeah.
So, people are still trying to recover from it for months. So you never know.
In all seriousness, I like the Patriots. I'm not liking what I'm seeing out of 49ers. Period.
Which is so crazy because
yeah,
it's like night and day. Weren't they just in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, and they were also 13-3. I mean,
Christ.
Now granted, look, Nick Bosa being hurt, that's huge.
Richard Sherman is hurt as well.
Yeah. I mean, he was playing per diem. No, I'm joking. I was stop disrespecting Richard Sherman's contract. But you're right. Both of those, that's huge. But Jimmy G, Sham, they were talking about benching him. They did bench him.
They did bench him.
They did bench him. Yeah, I'm tripping.
They brought the grandson in.
Yeah. Beathard, right? Yeah. Wow, man. How far are we falling? Hey, Jimmy G, you still got that money, though.
He still got that face. Yeah.
All right. Moving on. So the game that took the place of the Raiders Bucks game, Seattle and Arizona, that has turned out to be quite an intriguing matchup. Arizona's looking good, man. We talked about it a little bit. Seattle's looking spectacular, though. So I expect Seattle to take that, but not, it'll be a good game. Arizona's looking good.
You got Russell Wilson versus Russ Light on the other side.
Yep.
So that should be interesting.
And then finally, the Bears and the Rams.
Bears are balling.
Yep. And a couple years ago when the Rams were balling, when they went to the Super Bowl, the one stumbling block that stood out to me that kind of gave New England the blueprint was their game against the Bears. Because the Rams that year when they went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, they were throwing up like 30, 40 points a game. And then they ran into like a brick wall with the Bears and only scored. And actually, I'm sorry, y'all too, right? Didn't the Eagles clip them that year as well?
Yeah, we beat the Rams.
Yeah. But the Bears game sticks out as like a game they didn't score that many points. So, and the Bears are balling.
You know why that Rams game is important? Because that's the game that Carson Wentz got hurt in the fourth quarter and had to forego the rest of the season, and Nick Foles had to take over. And why this game is intriguing to me is because Nick Foles is now the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears. And remember on that Hard Knocks when they made that phone call to Nick Foles and cut him from the Rams?
Absolutely, Sham. Yeah. That's a great time. But yeah, so this game has tons of intrigue. Look at this. Look, Sunday night games, I would say 50-50 or mostly good. But look at the Monday night games we're getting. Yeah. Like good Monday night games for once. So NFL roundup, pretty good. COVID, look, I kind of glossed over it, but my Raiders have been ravaged by COVID. Our entire offensive line, Sham, is eligible, at least up to this point. I got to check it again. We might have been ruled eligible if we can test positive or negative. But leading up to Friday, my entire starting offensive line was ruled ineligible because Trent Brown was ineligible. And then my starting safety, Jonathan Abram, was also ruled ineligible for a positive COVID test, which is why they had to move the game. So we had a bye week. So apparently everybody went out and partied. John Gruden, that's not acceptable. I'm not going to Kirk. But the point being, if we get murdered by Tampa Bay tomorrow and we don't have any starters, like I need an explanation as to what happened. So that's that.
And guess what? There's a whole nother sport going on right now.
I mean, the sport's coming to a close. We got the World Series. So what are you watching or do you see the game? I don't even have my TV on.
My TV's not on either, but the Dodgers are winning right now 3-2, and they're up in the series 2-1.
Okay. What inning?
It's the 5th inning.
Okay.
The top of the 6th is coming up.
Oh wow! So we got some intrigue.
Yeah, man.
All right. Look, we haven't really talked about it. I mean, do you have any vested interest in either team?
Well, we have talked about it a little bit. I feel like the Tampa Bay Rays deserve one. I think they've been in the league a little while now. It's time for them to get one on the mantle. The Dodgers has plenty. So
now, good take and no issues with it. I'm gonna go the other way. I feel like recently the Dodgers have been knocking at the door a lot, and they've just been consistent and just producing. And I wouldn't mind seeing them take this. I mean, everything you said about the Rays is true. I just think the Dodgers, especially in light of the Astros, I feel like the Astros definitely cheated the Dodgers out of one. So, but the Dodgers have been. Is this not their third in a row, because we played the Astros last year, but their third and 4 years?
Yeah, the Astros been balling.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm talking about the Dodgers though. Is this
the Dodgers?
Yeah. Is this their third World Series appearance in 4 years?
Oh.
Or maybe I'm getting that confused. Yeah, because maybe they were going to ALCS, because I think the Astros had gone to 2 straight. That was their second with us. So yeah, but I know the Dodgers. My point is the Dodgers have been knocking at this door for the last few years. You
are correct.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, 17, 18, and 20. Dodgers win the World Series.
Okay, cool. Oh, right. And you know what I'm thinking? Houston's actually switched leagues too.
Yeah, they're in the American League.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. Yeah, but yeah, the Dodgers, yeah. So, yeah, you know, they've been consistently producing. And I mean, like I said, you better strike them out, because they're going to hit you out the park. I'm surprised the score is that close. So yeah, kudos to them. Sham, I can't wait to see you tomorrow.
Yay!
Yeah. I'm sure the listeners are like, well, why don't you guys just tape then? Because we want to enjoy our day and watch football.
Exactly.
Guys.
Can we live?
Can we live? I mean, you know, y'all shot us all the way up to Sham. Where were we last week in the rankings? We didn't even talk about that.
No, we didn't. We shot up to number 52 on the United States Entertainment News charts on Apple Podcasts, courtesy of Chartable.
I mean, we said it. 238, 117, 52. I probably got some of those numbers wrong, but the general area.
Nah, good enough.
Yep. So next week, hey guys, shoot us up in the top 10. We're holding breath and pull my receipts.
And while he's holding his breath, I'm going to close out this episode. Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Stop Playing Podcast with Sham and Shaka. As always, you can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you listen to Apple Podcasts, please leave a rating. You can also chop it up with us on Facebook and Instagram at the Stop Playing Podcast, and on Twitter at Stop_Playing Pod. And if you haven't subscribed already, please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe there as well. And like we always say, no double dipping unless it's the podcast. Please leave your chips on the plate, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Stop playing.